So hello students, how are you? In our last video, we had discussed about the agricultural sector of Indian economy on the eve of independence. In this video, we will continue our chapter Indian economy on the eve of independence, in which we study the industrial sector. India was particularly well known for its handicraft industry. So we will discuss the reason behind the decline of handicraft industry. The main reason for decline of India's handicraft industry was the introduction of discriminatory tariff policy by the colonial government. This policy allowed This policy allowed free export of raw materials from India and free import of final goods of British industry to India. But heavy duty was imposed on the export of Indian handicrafts. This is the structure of industrial sector. In this image you can see. Now next point is competition from machine. As a result, Indian markets were full of finished goods from Britain which were low priced. It led to the decline of Indian handicrafts both in the domestic market as well as foreign market. Now the third point is new patterns of demand. As we know that when the Britishers rule in India, the pattern of demand became changed. The decline of Indian handicrafts resulted in unemployment on a mass scale. The displaced artisans were forced to take up agriculture for their livelihood. The Indian made goods could not withstand the foreign competition of machine made cheap goods. It encouraged the import of manufactured goods from Britain. Thus, the British products were largely demanded and the Indian industries tended to perish. Point is lack of capital good industries. There were no capital good industry to help promote further industrialization. It means capital good industry refers to those industries which can produce machine tools which are in turn used for producing commodities for current consumption. British rulers did not pay any attention for their promotion as they always wanted Indians to be dependent on Britain for the supply of capital goods and heavy equipments. And the last point is low contribution to gross domestic product. We know that the GDP and the contribution in GDP is the total goods and services produced in an economy during an accounting year. So, the growth rate of the new industrial sector and its contribution to the GDP remained very small. Because of that time, many few industries, or we say that no big industries were developed in India. So, the GDP was very small. These are some major highlights of industrial sector on the eve of independence. Number one is India could not develop a sound industrial base under the colonial rule. Number two, even the country's world famous handicraft industries declined. Number three, no commercial modern industrial base was allowed to come up. And number four, This sector needed modernization, diversification, and increased investment. So that's all for today, students. In next class, we will discuss about the foreign trade and demographic condition of our country on the eve of independence. Thank you.